Pugh! That'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof of the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football.
Good evening, guys. We started the night scared, and now I'm feeling scarred. We could have grabbed something, but a decent performance against Man City, and I'm going to bring in people straight away tonight. If you want to get involved, then you can do so. Just grab a pair of headphones, go to afcbpodcast.com/take part. If it goes to a 404, you may have last week's link that's cached. So do a refresh. And then, hopefully you can join in. We'll pop the StreamYard link on both Facebook and YouTube as well. First person I'm going to bring in tonight is Mr. Tiggs. Tony, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm okay. I went through all the emotions during that game. But generally very, very proud, but hugely frustrated because I don't know. I can't remember the last time we played that well.
It was a decent performance, and you know what? I think tactically we were pretty good. We were growing into the game. They scored their second, and you know we got a way back into it. And arguably we could have got a draw. But we're looking at things and we're thinking, well, we would have taken a 1-0 loss. So 2-1's not bad, is it?
2-1's not bad, and I think the most important thing is that our spirit is not crushed. You know, if we'd gone there and lost 4-0. then we could end up finding it really difficult to get ourselves up for a tricky Saints game. But I feel so hopeful, actually. The more I think about it, we've given ourselves a real chance. And the commentators today really annoyed me because they kept writing us off and talking about it's all too little too late for Bournemouth. There's no too little too late. There's the end of the season, and that's it. And if we're staying up, we're staying up. So you shouldn't be saying that.
You probably have to say it's got to be 2 wins out of 2 now, though, maybe. Well, depending on Friday night's result, obviously. We're going to bring in Paul Lawrence here as well, who was watching the game from Florida. Paul, how are you after seeing that? Hopeful?
Yeah. Again, mixed feelings because Callum Wilson was so wasteful tonight, wasn't he? And I'm going to go to bed tonight thinking it was a game of the what-ifs and the maybes, and if we'd have just gambled on this type of a knockdown. I'm like you, Sam. I'm so proud to be a Cherries fan tonight and watch that. We gave Man City a really good game. I know they had a few players that were missing, but they were really tested. And I thought if we could have just played on another 5 or 6 minutes, I felt that goal was coming. And like you've both identified, the belief and the real spirit, it's been there for 3 games now, and the consistency is there-ish with certain things we're doing. I felt in general, you bang on that the tactics were spot on, and I felt we were really disciplined. It's just frustrating how 2 moments can cost you a game. You've got Lerma with a very bad tackle early on, not needed, and for me, we've got to put a tackle in before he dribbles inside our 18 and gets that shot away. And really, what was that? 2 good chances the whole game? There can't be many teams that have limited Manchester City to so few chances. Here in the US, the commentary was funny because they were almost in disbelief that we were giving them a real game. I'm very proud, but I think the reality here is, as I kind of dwell on it a little bit and think it's just, I hope it's not for nothing. This great day out, and we've had a really good experience of watching them against Man City, but I want it to be for something. And I think Eddie probably feels the same way as well, that, the players had the qualities all along. It was just the confidence that shattered them. And I think we're all sort of disappointed now, thinking, if we just had a few more games, now the confidence is there. Perhaps we could have done it, and we'll see. I'm still positive-ish right now.
I think we needed this restart in reverse, didn't we, Paul? We needed to start with the Everton game, Southampton, get to the Man City. I think when he could have done that, I looking at the way Palace have been playing, I think we would definitely have got a result there.
Okay, so Craig and Morgan and Louis and Max are standing by, but Paul Kenwood is also here as well. And Paul, how are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm feeling good. I think that was a very good performance. I think we gave away a silly free kick, as Paul said, and there were moments in the first half that we probably look back on and think we could have done a little bit better. But I thought actually overall we nullified their attack. Sterling, I didn't even realise he'd come on the pitch. He hardly had a shot, and Kelly was brilliant. Lloyd Kelly at the back, absolutely brilliant. What a find he's been. So there are positives to take from this lockdown, even if we go down. Lloyd Kelly next season with Cook would be amazing. Nathan, it's we didn't really miss Nathan at all today. It's good. I really enjoyed it actually. It was edge of the seat stuff, which we haven't really had this season. Certainly since before, probably about November, where you actually felt that we're going to get something.
That last 15 minutes was like a joy to watch, albeit we only scored once and needed to score twice, but we were probably going for it. And you just think about the performances against Newcastle, Palace, Wolves. Why didn't we have that mentality?
I think it's confidence. I think it really is just as simple as a bit of confidence and possibly match sharpness. Match sharpness for a couple of the players who've been injured for quite some time. So your Lewis Cook, you've got your Brooks. They've just come back from lengthy injury spells, and it's taken them a while to get back into the swing of it. And Brooks looked quite sharp when he came on the sub. Same with Lewis, and even Callum. He looked a different player from the last couple of games even. So I think Solanke playing well has given Callum a rocket up the backside to sort of go, actually, I could lose my place. That's good. Competition for places is what we need.
Yeah, that's it. So Louis is here as well. We're going to bring him in. We can see Craig, Morgan, Pete and Dan standing by as well. Louis, I'll come to you. What ice lolly is it this week, buddy?
What do you expect? Cherry.
What do you make of that performance today?
I was very impressed with us. I'd have to say it's one of the best losses I've seen from us in a very long time.
Which player stood out?
I definitely say I was very, very impressed with Junior today. For example, and at least our defence, which was just mentioned before, how you could hardly notice Ake being out. It was really, really strong.
I mean, maybe as Paul sort of alluded to, perhaps we're all sort of coming away very disappointed but proud. But maybe we should be more proud by the fact that one of our best players, a player that's probably his last touch may or may not determine our fate. We don't know yet. But with Ake, we might have done even better. We could say maybe
slightly, but can't see it making that much of a difference, given how well we played.
Oh, okay. And what about the changes that that Eddie made when he did? Were you quite pleased with them? Because Callum Wilson and David Brooks were brought on. Well, it was a triple substitution in the end on about 68 minutes, and they had 25 minutes in the end to change the game. And my God, they nearly did.
Yeah, I was pleased with them. Although I was hoping that instead of Harry Wilson, they brought Sam Surridge on a bit earlier.
Yeah, and he got in the mix, didn't he, with his chance?
Very much so.
Brilliant. Craig will also bring you in at this point now, and your first words last week were on Wednesday were effing brilliant. What's your 2-word match report this week?
More of the same. I think it was a decent performance, very, very decent performance that we could have got that point from. I think going with what Morgan was saying, I think 3 points was a little bit hopeful, but we did very, very well. Junior was incredibly unlucky with the free kick. I don't know if really for their free kick it was a bit soft. I wonder if it would have been a similar situation, if we had got up their end, and one of their players had done a similar sort of thing. What do you guys make of the offside? Do you think it was offside, or because I think it was so marginal?
No way of knowing. I'd say completely in line.
I'd say
Go
that I think that if you had rolled the tape back literally 100th or even a millionth of a second, his foot would have been onside and the ball would still have been played by Stanislas' foot. I don't think you can accurately, when it's that close, I don't think you can accurately say when the ball was kicked by the person passing the ball. And I don't think it's fair to give that as offside when it's that marginal.
It's extremely close, you've got to say. And you know what? With the naked eye, I looked at that and was thinking, like offside. One thing I'm not sure of, was the ball going in anyway, or do you think it was going wide, Paul?
I looked going wide.
Do you think?
Hitting the post.
I couldn't tell. I think I only saw one replay. Well, in fact, because it went to VAR, they showed those replays from the angle whereby it's parallel, and they have, but you never really saw it from behind the ball. And I just wondered whether that would have gone in. It doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter at the end of the day. But it's great to be forging those chances. And you look at Callum Wilson. And he had chances when he came on. The one he dragged past the post. He had a couple, didn't he? Tony, your heart was in your mouth at that point in time.
I think Paul sort of said it earlier. Callum's in a funny place, isn't he? That chance there, I would have betted. He just needed to look up, take that little bit more time. And the other thing that really surprised me about Callum as well is the pass to Brooks that led to the goal. Now, I'm not complaining because we got a goal. But Callum does that a lot now. His role appears to have changed. He doesn't tend to shoot, does he? He tends to try and hold it up a little bit and pass it off. So that's been really interesting.
Well, you saw his shots. They weren't very good, were they? So
no, it's got to be his
pass.
His confidence. I just wonder if his confidence to take a shot, has taken a knock.
Yeah.
Whereas Solanke, his stock's on the rise, isn't he? And there was a point where he took a shot where maybe he should have laid it off to King or left it for King, really, as it was coming through. Our strikers are in funny places, I think.
Yeah.
Just on Solanke, I thought he did very, very well. How he won that free kick for Stanislas was
amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic run through. He's really coming into his own. There's a player in there. I feel that we're unlucky, but I'm proud tonight because we've really given our all. We've really shown what we're all about. If we do end up going down, if that's one of our final moments, it shows what we were all about, and hope it gives us hope for next season coming straight back up. I still think we can beat Southampton. I still think we can beat Everton.
Southampton beat Man City, didn't they?
They did. They did.
Beat the team that beat the team we couldn't beat. Yeah.
I
love football.
But you've got to stay hopeful. We did them earlier on this season. Yes, they've improved a lot, but I still believe that we can do something. And plus, we're at home. Yes, we haven't got the crowd there, but I'm hopeful. It's probably more heart than head.
We've got the best possible scenario, given that we've lost to have only gone down by one goal, which obviously puts the onus on Manchester City. If they knock a few past Watford, then you never know what could happen. Louis.
Yes,
I'm being arrested. I have got a box of shorts on. It's okay. What do you think Eddie needs to do ahead of the next game? What changes would you like to see be made, or were you quite happy with how the team lined up today?
Honestly, I'm not sure there's anyone I'd take out. I was pretty impressed with it all round. Against a lower side, we'd have almost definitely won that, I think.
I think Sterling looked like he went off injured, didn't he? So we might have to replace him.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to, but yeah.
Interesting. Well, there's people waiting to get in. So, Louis, thanks very much for coming on again, and we'll chat to you on the next game, I'm very sure, which will be Sunday. They come thick and fast these days. Dan Hall is standing by, but someone else who is Morgan Scott. But also, what's going on around here? We're going to bring in Pete North. Pete, how are you? And are you happy with that performance?
I'm very, very happy, considering a few matches ago we were just talking about, how bad they played against Newcastle, how bad they played against Palace, and it's virtually the same players. So it just shows what a bit of confidence can do. Talk about Callum there. I mean, we're talking about Callum missing a few chances, but he's having chances. The past few games, he's not really been anywhere near the goal, and he's had a few chances. So one of them's going to go in. And Southampton, what do you guys reckon? Do you reckon it's going to be emotive without the crowd there playing against Southampton? Because it's always an emotive game, and it always can go either way. But do you reckon it'll be different without the crowd there?
Do you know what I think we should do? There was a tweet from Matt Letizia a couple of weeks ago about our predicament. Eddie should stick that on the wall.
He said something about it looks like there's going to be no South Coast derby in the Championship next season. Then, didn't it? Alluding to the fact that we're going to go down, but Portsmouth aren't going up. Was that the one?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. I think we should stick that on the wall.
Incentive.
I think it will be different without a crowd. Definitely. I mean, obviously we want to beat them every time we play them, whether we're at home or away. But without the noise behind us, Southampton have looked quite strong the last couple of games. I've been watching them play, and actually they're well organised. They're they could cause problems.
Yeah, and you're right.
Go on,
we want to beat them.
I
don't know if Josh King wants to beat them. I don't know if Billing wants to beat them. We want to beat them. So
I've got my boots. I'll just turn up next week.
The Bournemouth fans feel the importance more than the actual players themselves, don't you, Pete?
But would the players feel it? The players will play for us, won't they? Even though we're not there, they know that we're behind them in spirit because we want to beat Southampton. I mean, we always do, don't we? I mean, I remember that night earlier in the season where we beat them 3-1, was it? Yeah, we beat 3-1 with Nathan Ackey's goal. And, I think we can take Southampton. And Everton lost their form. I think we've got every chance. If we play like we did tonight, I think we shouldn't be frightened of anybody. And another point that was made by the commentators was Manchester City's bench. What about our bench? We had 4 players come off the bench and change the game. You know what I mean? So we're talking about Manchester City's sort of millions and millions of pounds bench. Look at our bench. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And it's nice that they're coming on to change games as well, isn't it, Tony? Coming on, that's going to give them a world of confidence, isn't it, Tony?
Yeah. I mean, I think Pete's spot on there because I'm sure, Paul Lawrence, you've probably had this before. You've had games. To make 3 changes to a team is risky. We weren't playing that badly. To make those 3 changes and for them to work means that we must have quality there. We must, it's unreal, really.
Yeah, very, very brave, wasn't it, to leave out Callum Wilson like that? But I think he did it for the right reasons. The pre-game press conference, I thought, was spot on. I think he got it right today, Eddie.
Yeah, I think you've got to give Solanke his chance as well after he played so well in the last game. So I don't think you could have dropped him. And if Josh King's fit, you've got to play him because he can make goals. So it's it kind of made sense the selection.
Brilliant. Paul, thank you for coming on today, mate.
No
really appreciate it. Paul Kenwood and also Paul Lawrence. That is, we'll hopefully see you Sunday, and fingers crossed it's going to be 3 points. Nice to see you guys. We're going to bring in Morgan as well now. Here he is, and also Kirk Tovey, Dan Hall standing by. Dan, you're going to come in next after your Talk Sport appearance last night. Morgan, the infectious Morgan, always full of enthusiasm. No disco lights tonight, by the looks of it. You look to be okay. Anyway, thoughts on that performance? I know you went for a Bournemouth win, but it was a good performance, wasn't it?
Oh my God, yeah, I'm pretty calm to be fair. I think this is calm as I've been in for quite a while. Firstly, I'd just like to pick up on Jamie Carragher's mistake. You can pronounce Junior Stanislas as Junior Stanislas. He did say it wrong, and that was like, I think he did that. That was almost as bad as my mucking up Sam Savage. As Steve, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, mentioned I couldn't spell it either. He was only joking. But onto the game, I thought it was... Yes, we didn't win, but God, me and you, Sam, almost got it spot on, you know. We talked about the goal difference, you know. Brits' goal, yes, in the end, didn't make too much in the long scheme of things. But it was an absolutely fantastic performance. Since I tweeted to say that I should be playing, Solanke's turned into an absolute legend. And I don't know what's happened to him. It feels like Messi. He's got Messi's legs or something.
Competition for places, probably, Morgan.
Yeah,
100%. And what I would like to say today is Eddie got his team spot on. I saw that at when did it come out? 5 o'clock, and I thought, what are we doing? And then I looked at, and then I thought, no, we'll go with this. 4.5 minutes in, I thought, oh God. And then I was like, you know, we came into the game, you know, even the commentary was saying how good we were doing. And then second half, we were just like, oh my God, it was just fantastic. And all we need is just to, I reckon we'll definitely get 6 points of our last 2 games. If we played like we did it today, that City team are a class team, but they looked embarrassed today. We were all over them in a lot of areas. And that's for Otamendi. Wow, I wouldn't want him at AFC Bournemouth because he looks absolutely a shambles.
Morgan, outspoken as ever. We're going to bring Dan Hall in. Pete North, thank you very much for your debut appearance on Back of the Net. Really appreciate it, buddy.
You're most welcome. Cheers.
And yeah, have a good evening. And before we do come to Dan, who we're going to bring in, Kirk, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I don't think we should be too downbeat about that. I mean, we would have taken that before the game, wouldn't we? I mean, when you got to break the game down into stages, and after 5 minutes, I was sitting there, and I'm sure loads of us were sitting there thinking, I hope this is not going to be like a night Southampton suffered a few months ago. So, you know, when you break that down after being 1-0 down after 5 minutes, we reacted really well. So we will have frustrations. VAR was inconsistent again, but that's for another day. But, you know, we played really well, but we weren't clinical enough, which is probably has been one of our downfalls again this season. We sort of snatched at chances, and decision making let us down again. So, but ultimately, I think we can't. The task is still the same, in my opinion. It was always going to be 9 from 12. We've got 3, 6 more to get, and we start by beating Southampton on Sunday.
What do you think is going to be the ideal result on Friday night, Kirk, between West Ham and Watford?
So West Ham seem to have found their form, and I can foresee West Ham maybe getting 3 or 4 if Antonio's on his game again. So I'm hoping that West Ham will. I hope West Ham can probably get a 3-1 or something like that. I think the way Man City played today, they almost suited the pace of the game. It was always going to be played at how the pace they wanted to play it at. We were always going to be watching them with the ball for most of the game at the start. And then my concern is when they play Watford is they'll probably set up the same, which I thought it'd probably end up being a similar scoreline. When actually we probably want them to destroy Watford and score 4 or 5. But I'm still not really concerned. I don't see Watford getting anything against West Ham, and I don't see him getting anything against Man City, and that's what I'm clinging on to.
Dan Hall, do we need 6 points to stay up, or do you think 4 could possibly do it?
I think 4 could do it, if I'm honest, but 6 would be nice, wouldn't it? Because I can't stand Watford and their fans, so I'd love them to go down regardless. I can't stand them.
What was it? I know you were representing the podcast last night on Talk Sport on a chat that was supposed
30
to be
seconds.
6 or 7 minutes. I said, well, that's what I was told. And what was it? About a minute or so? Because I tried to find it.
About a minute. You had 30 seconds of Jermaine Beckford, 15 seconds of the other guy, and 15 of me.
What do they ask you on there?
Just basically what my score prediction would be. How many points do I think we'd need to win? I did get the score prediction right, and I did say we put in a spirited performance. They both kind of laughed.
Yeah.
I sort of feel I'm laughing at them now, but
yeah,
bit of an insult, really.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll get you on TalkSport this weekend for a bit of a more lengthy chat. Max Rushton's always keen to have a word on a Sunday morning, on Saturday or Sunday. So, Tony, you've spoken to him as well. So, we didn't get the 3 points. We didn't get a draw, but 2-1 is as good as could be expected, given that a lot of us have been thinking that we're going to be smashed 3-4-0.
I think the most important thing is the goal difference. I think that's a huge thing, because if they'd have gone on to go 3-0, that could have been 5, 6, 7. You could just see the heads drop.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of spirit in that side. And as what's been said on here, Solanke, what a different player he's become in the last 2-3 games. He's really turned it round into that provider. And even if we do go down, it's given us hope that he can still cut it and get us back up. If we do,
I think the frustration just.
Yeah, go on, he's gone. Yeah.
I think the frustrations that we're all going to have again. I mean, I'm so proud of the players again, but it's just we're going to sit back, aren't we, and just go, why did it take till Man United? Why, and that's where we're at with it, really. Like Mr. Tigg said, if we got going a little bit earlier, we might not need 6. We might only need 4. I think we need 6 personally, just to be on the safe side, because I don't think Watford are going to lose by that many goals in the games they've got. But yeah, it's just so annoying. I mean, I'm so proud of all the players after the start of the game when we went 1-0 down. I'm so proud of them, how they reacted, didn't drop their heads. And it was so good to see that so many times this year when we've been playing in that sort of negative, deep line of 4, line of 5, but actually when we did get into promising positions, we loaded the box, and that's what was really so good to see. Billing should have scored a header. Solanke snatched at the shot when it come off the defender's leg, and it was just those decision makings. We were just snatching at shots instead of maybe just being a little bit more clinical. Callum, if he got his head up, could have laid in Harry Wilson. It's just those moments, those small moments. Apart from one player, I will say that I just didn't buy into Billing again tonight. Right. For me, he was the only man on that pitch that just did too much jogging for me. And I don't know about you guys, but he seems to get, for a player who's quite tall, I don't know what his size is. I've never known someone to wince or go down or limp or... it's just every game. It's like he gets a nudge in the stomach, he's down. Touch on the ankle, he's down. And he's really starting to get my goat up a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but all the rest of them, they were brilliant.
Yeah, Morgan?
Just to chip in there, he's 6'5", and I'm the same height as Billing, and I think I could have done more than him on the pitch tonight. I thought I completely agree with you. Bournemouth's version of Gary Neville. I thought he was. I thought he. No, seriously. I completely agree with everything you say, Kurt. But no, tonight he was. He was that one person on that team who didn't feel like he wanted to fight. I thought everyone would fight. He wanted to be on that pitch tonight with showing fight, and I'm quite emotional after tonight's performance. Now that might sound a bit weird, but I thought there was a lot of emotion in there. And you look at Eddie Howe in that game, and although he probably wasn't the happiest we ever seen him. He'd be travelling back down here in the next couple of hours, and he'd be feeling so much happier with that performance. So we played, 5 or 6 games into restart with football being on every day. I can't remember, but you look at back at Palace maybe 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Thanks very much, Alan. And
but get the cushion.
Going back to what I was saying. So you look at the Palace performance back a month or so ago, and then you look at the defeat at Molineux, and then the Newcastle game, and then you think they're absolutely dreadful performances, the worst that I can remember watching Bournemouth since we've been in the top flight. And then you look at positives. So then you look at Man U and Spurs, Leicester, and tonight. And they're absolutely fantastic performance. And if we weren't playing against Man City tonight, we may have come from behind and we would have won that game. I said it, we were fantastic. Leicester, we were lucky that they slipped up, but we came to fight tonight. And I think Man City will be more disappointed that we played them so well compared to the goal they let in. But yeah, no, I completely agree what you're saying. I thought Philip Billen just looked like Bambi on ice, if I'm honest with you.
Ooh, harsh words. Max, welcome to the show tonight. How's it going? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm fine. Oh, I can't believe that. I thought it was going to go 2-2, but dodgy calls, wasn't it?
It's a weird feeling, isn't it? Because you look at it and you're thinking, okay, now it was just a toenail from being an equaliser, albeit that was before our actual goal to make it 2-1. But we've got to take that positive, the positives from that performance, haven't we? We've got to.
Yeah, just like you said. You said, would I take a 1-0 defeat against Man City or 2-1? By 1-1 goal difference is not bad. Whereas, is it when Watford play Man City? I don't know if it's at Vicarage Road or if it's at Man City.
It's at Vicarage Road, yeah.
All right, well, if it's at Vicarage Road, then you never know. If Man City go all guns blazing and get like 4-1 or something, then that's good for us. And then we hope West Ham batter them.
Yeah, well, the only thing I can think, I think that performance, albeit they've got 3 points, I don't think Pep will be overly happy with that last 20 minutes. So obviously they've got the FA Cup between now and then. However, surely that's going to put a rocket at them because they were not good, and I thought we were exceptional in that last 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Last 20 minutes we just attacked, and that dink from Brooks to Harry Wilson in the box was good. But, we've got to take a positive, even though we did lose 2-1 to Man City, but they should be not happy with themselves, only scoring 2 and none in the second half against a team like us. But, we just got to keep positive for the next 2 games and hopefully get all 6 points, but 6 for safety and 4, at least a win against Southampton and a draw away to Everton. But you never know with Bournemouth. They play bad, they play good, you get results, you never know.
Southampton looks pretty tasty against Man United though, didn't they?
Yeah, I know. I was like, last minute of the game. And then I was watching this live stream with Man United. They said, you watch, they're going to go and get a late last minute goal because Greenwood got injured with extra time. And then they just get a corner, boom, 97th minute, 2-2, jinxed themselves. But, Southampton, home advantage, but, it's behind closed doors, isn't it? No crowd, no nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Max, do you think that we will feel, the players will sort of know it's a derby almost, because obviously a lot of derby atmospheres are fueled by the fans that are causing a complete cauldron inside the stadium, but they may not know it, and will it mean as much to them?
Yeah, because they will want to try. Also, we want to get the 3 points. They'll want to try and make us lose because to relegate us, like what we tried doing to them a few seasons ago. But I just hope if we play like we did today, up against Southampton, I reckon it will be at least a 3-4-1 battering again, like against Leicester.
Brilliant. Max, appreciate having you on. Thanks very much. We got David in Washington, Steve, who's ready to come on as well. Thanks, Max. Really appreciate your views. And Tony, just to get a sort of last word from you. What do we need to do against Saints? Is it a similar lineup, or do we need to go back to our 4-4-2, or maybe even play that sort of last 30 formation against Leicester, whereby it was almost a 3-4-1-2? What do we do?
I think Eddie clearly changed the formation a bit because of the opposition. So he's done his scouting. I think we'll go back. I think we'll play something similar to today, actually, with 4 at the back. Also, I think we're kind of forced from a personnel point of view. I don't think we've got 3 natural centre halves to change a back line. And I think it worked really well. I mean, Stanislas has been a revelation, hasn't he? Because he can get forward and he can get back. And King, surprisingly, didn't do a bad job of that today. When I saw the lineup, I thought he'll get forward, but Rico would be in trouble. But I thought they did quite a good job together. Before I go, I think the thing about Billing, and I think we had a good team performance today, so I don't want to harp on about him. But I think when I look at Philip Billing and I look at the size of him, and you're right, he doesn't win headers and he gets knocked over easily. I expect him to be a different sort of player than he is. Just physically looking at him, I expect him to be a big, tough, but I don't think he is. I think he's a cultured passer of the ball, and he's stuck in this big body. And I think he thinks that he's gonna be the Messi. He doesn't have the amount of time on the ball that he thinks he has ever. He always sort of slows the pace down, looking for that Hollywood pass, and it never really quite works. But that's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, I'm going to bring in someone who's laughing his head off at what you were saying there, which is, by the way, Steve. Tiggs, thank you very much, buddy.
I thought you'd like that, Steve. I'll leave you with that hand grenade.
Yeah. Here we go. Cheers, Tony. Thanks very much. He's getting out whilst he can. And Steve, I'm also going to bring in Rich at the same time. Steve, whilst Tony was saying that, you had a smile on your face about Billing.
Well, yeah. I don't think you could be further from the truth. I think there was one major difference between the two teams tonight. We had Billing and they didn't. Yeah. And like Kirk said earlier, he just jogs around the pitch, and I can't. It must let the other 10 players down on that field when they're chasing and harrying people down, and he's just ambling around everywhere. The guy can't head the ball, and he's 6'5". I mean, I don't know if you watched. Did you see it against Man United when he had a ball bounced in front of him, and he was? I think it was Fred, and Fred must be about 5'4", and he just completely went underneath it, and Fred got the ball off him. And
he did nothing, did he?
Yeah, and he just watched him go. He just watched him walk off. And all right, he wasn't that bad tonight, but it still must be soul destroying when you're the rest of that team are doing as well as they did tonight. He just doesn't seem to be. Go on.
On the flip side, though, not really to do with Billing, but having those two midfielders in there, which is going to cause Eddie a bit of a problem in the next few days, is that actually made Gosling feel a little more comfortable in there, didn't it? Because I've been a big fan of Gosling since he's come in. He's been really wanting to try and get in this team and show his passion. But like we saw against Leicester, when he just plays in there with Lerma and he does like to try and support those strikers,
he gets the break forward.
We get found out on the way back, don't we? So by having those two midfielders in there, it gives Gosling that freedom that he knows he can bomb on a bit, and we're not going to get exposed when we're defending. And we're going to have a bit of a problem, I think, Eddie, is now, because I do prefer us at home, especially against teams like Southampton, that we do go with the two up top. But he ain't going to play Gosling in there with just Lerma, and then the Lewis, Cook and Lerma hasn't really worked since Project Restart. So that's where I think there's going to be a bit of a headache for him.
This could get messy. I'm going to bring in two more. I believe we can have 8 on screen at once. So who knows how this is going to go. Right, I'm just trying to catch up with where everyone is. Right, the second Steve that's come in.
I've never had so many friends.
Thoughts after tonight, Steve, number 2?
My throat hurts. I've been shouting at the TV too much. There was definitely no offside. I think if you look at the VAR where they stopped it, the ball's already taken off the foot. So I think somebody mentioned it before. I reckon if you rewind it a few milliseconds, I reckon he's on. Let's say hard to talk about it now, but yeah, with the fight that we've had the last 2 games, I think next 2 games are easy 6 points.
I would like to think so. I mean, a point against Spurs, 3 against Leicester. No points against Man City, but it was a pretty good performance. Watford, they've got 6 points in their last couple of games or whatever, but to me, they've not actually been that convincing. So, how much do you think does performance overrule the number of points that you've got?
I still think the last 2 games has shown that we've got the fight. I think, bring the next 2 on. I think easy 6 points, easy.
And will that be enough if we do? I mean, that's going on the assumption that Watford will get smashed by Man City and will lose one of their other games. Is that going to happen?
Yeah, I'm going to stay positive. I'm going to put myself on.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm not
David,
making any predictions.
yeah. And I wonder why, Steve. It says he can try and open the bottle with his teeth. David in Washington. Thoughts on that? What do you think?
If you'd asked us at the beginning of the day whether we would outshoot Manchester City and just lose? I think most of us would have said probably not. I mean, Man City is one of the better teams, and I thought we played really, really well the whole game. I thought we were a little unlucky. Again, I don't think it was offside. And if it was offside, it was offside by a toe. The only good thing is, the penalty decision went in our favour, which was good. And I thought but the substitutes came on. Everybody other than Billing really put in a chasing down the balls. And if we play like that against Southampton and Everton, I think we'll get 6 points. I don't think it's going to be easy. I disagree with Morgan on that, but I think we can definitely win the next 2.
I'm not sure about everyone else, but he said, I even think Billing put in a shh and then it paused. I was thinking, what's he going to say? But he did say shh. Because a lot of people have been saying that he looked a little bit pedestrian tonight. And Craig, what were your thoughts on him in midfield tonight?
Well, I'm not a fan of Billing. I just don't think he doesn't win the ball. Like Kirk said.
Have you still got the engine running or what?
Well, yes, yeah. To be honest, I just don't rate him. I just don't think he gives 110% and he's not the right player to have in a battle like this. Eddie's done the right thing with putting him on the bench, and beforehand, but I just don't rate him. He just doesn't win the ball enough for me. And like Steve said, he should have got the better of Fred. He's miles bigger. It's disappointing.
Do you think, in the last few games, who's been your standout player? I think I can guess who, but who has been your standout player, Craig?
Stanislas.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
You can say his name.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not easy, Kirk.
Do you know what, Kirk? I was a little bit worried because people were calling you Gary Neville. I was worried they were going to start calling me Carragher. I do not want to be associated with him, especially after my tweets.
Well, you're next to me on the chat. I'm just worried you're going to flob on my face, Craig. So, I mean, that's what it does.
Dear.
I completely agree with regards to, Julius.
Well, we kind of got the whole
Go on.
We kind of got the whole Soccer Saturday team. Sam, if you're like Jeff Stedden, and then we got Craig and Calgary, and then Kirk is Gary Neville, we're doing all right. And then, add in a few more like Charlie Nicholas and that whatever. And
who's that then, Kirk?
Morgan, you're Cammy. You've got to be Cammy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Stanislas. Oh, I love it.
Could I just make a quick point again on Philip Billing? Not that we haven't had a go at him enough this evening, but the fact that he Gosling got bought off quite soon on into the second half when Eddie made them 3 changes, and I personally think that should have been Billing coming off because I thought Gosling and he got so much praise. Carol could say his name correctly, but I think I'm like Paul Merson. Thanks very much.
Just waiting for a tooth to fall out.
I think Gosling should have stayed on, if I'm honest, and taken Philip Billing off because, God, to be honest with you, this is how much I don't like the man. Let's bring Tyree Salmon back because he's just absolutely hideous. He's 6'5" and he doesn't head a ball. I'm not a professional footballer, but at least put a head on it.
Perhaps you should be at 6'5".
At least Tyree Salmon can pass the ball. So Philip Billing can stand like a lemon in midfield and run.
So
I could be the referee.
I'm interested. What do you guys think of Callum Wilson today?
Rusty.
But he did set up books.
Yeah, he just didn't look on it, did he?
He's been out of sorts all season, though, isn't he?
Rude, to be honest.
I mean,
to be honest with you, I'm not being rude. Sorry, bit laggy there. What I was trying to say, to be honest with you, I think Callum Wilson just did his teammate a favour. To be honst with you, if he didn't do that, he looks like a right selfish idiot. Just because he wants to try and get a shot away or get a goal for himself, I think he did the correct thing. But yeah, no, he did look on his A game. I remember a little ball at Billing, and that's the only thing I can see Billing actually doing correct all game, where he put that ball through to Wilson, and Wilson just stood there for about half an hour and thought, oh, Otamendi, who's no talent, whatsoever, can I reiterate? And he just stood there and thought, you come and do something. And Wilson just stood there and just looked clueless. Like, he looked like Solanke.
But the thing...
He just stood there and looked like Solanke. So, to be honest with you, Wilson's got a lot of work to do, because right now, he's the second choice between Solanke and even maybe Sam Savage. I've been practicing that, Steve, by the way.
I mean, do you think we're perhaps giving Solanke a little bit, too much praise, given the fact that, yes, he did score a couple, one of them squirmed in, and the other one was, we're saying that, he's now above Wilson in the pecking order. Is that what we're saying?
No,
I don't know about that.
Most definitely not.
The thing is with
to be honest with you, what I'm saying is Solanke's performance was definitely a lot better tonight than Wilson. I know obviously Solanke had 70, but Solanke did more in the last 2 games than Wilson done in a game and a half.
Okay, perfect. Brilliant, Morgan. Thanks very much for coming on. Appreciate it. We're going to bring some more people in. Looking forward to chatting to you after the game against Saints. Hopefully it's going to be in good circumstances. And Sol is standing by as well. So Sol, how's it going, buddy? Pleased with that? Well, pleased, but as good as can be expected?
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. I think that the performance was something that we really needed compared to what obviously has come before. Really good going into Scum on Sunday.
Do you think we'll get anything against them? Because they're looking pretty tasty at the moment, aren't they?
I think we're looking pretty tasty at the moment. I think the performances we've had, really shown what we're about as a club. I think we deserve more than what we got today. A point would have been better. And I think 3 will definitely come on Sunday. I'm looking forward to it.
Who's running would you rather have? Watford have got West Ham away. They've got Manchester City at home and Arsenal away. Or would you rather have our run in? So Saints at home and Everton away.
I think ours is probably more favourable just in terms of the calibre of team. Taking form away from it, obviously, I know Saints are doing all right. I'd probably say us. I think we've beaten Everton and Southampton both. Was it 3-1 this season? Yeah. So I think we've got fairly favourable matches.
Do you think we're a team that thrives on? I've watched the 800 meters before at the Olympics, and there's always a runner that hangs just behind the person in the lead, and then last 200 meters they just absolutely go for it. It sort of happened in the Championship where we were behind Watford and they sort of made a mistake. Yeah. Do you think it would, on that last week, it would almost be in our favour to be in a situation whereby we are 18th and Watford are 17th? Would that give us more? Because there is a circumstance whereby if Watford, West Ham beat Watford, 2-0 or whatever, and then we get a 2-0 win over, Southampton or whatever, we would be above the dotted line. And with a game to go, would the players be more complacent than they would in 18th, perhaps?
I think it could go either way. I think sort of having that underdog, being just that little bit lagging behind, it might spur them on to get a few more goals, pick up a few more points than perhaps we should. All we need is a bit of luck to get past our last 2 opponents. And I think if results go our way, if Watford lose both their games, I know West Ham have got to play Watford. So I think we've got a good chance.
Well, I really hope so. I mean, I think as Jack said on the chat there, Villa could beat Everton tomorrow and actually go above us if they did. Yeah, obviously not too good. Now, Rich, you stayed quiet until now, but I'm bringing you in. You look relatively happy tonight.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I am. But Steve. Did you see that stat that I put on chat earlier? 14 goals on 14 shots. Sorry. Yeah. And it's more than any other away team in the last 3 seasons against Man City.
And that's a good stat, isn't it? I think. Yeah, not a bad stat. We didn't sort of turn them into goals, but it just shows that our attacking impetus is back, whereas previously we've barely had a shot on target. I think, what was it, in our first 3 matches, 6 halves of football, 2 shots. So, to do that at the, perhaps champions next season, who knows? But they're a good side, obviously, great form. It was a good performance.
it was such fine margins. I mean, Stanislas, his free kick that could have quite easily gone in. That was fractions away. Obviously King, but we've spoken about that one. Yeah, no. To be fair, it was what if we couldn't have got the win or the draw. Obviously, it was what I wanted. It was, you know, a match that we didn't really affect too much our goal difference, and you know, try our best for the last two games. And if we don't make it, then it's too little, too late. But you know, give it their best shot, and that's all they can do, isn't it? You know what I mean? They've done what they've done up to now, so.
Yeah, agree. I mean, Richard on chat said that Lloyd Kelly looks like the new Ake, and you know, when he got injured, we were all kind of worried about an Ake-less season. However, with Lloyd Kelly there, we're sort of not worrying so much, and it seems like we might have a great signing there, someone that's incredibly versatile. Rich.
Yeah, he's still young, and you know, he's looking good. I mean, obviously, he hasn't played much football, but you know, would you really know that? He seems to be getting better for me each game, so I'm happy with him at the moment.
Kirk, which players would you be taking into the next game, and you know, who basically had a good performance so that are undroppable for the next game against Saints?
Sorry, is that me, Sam?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Sorry, repeat your question. Sorry, I didn't hear. Sorry.
Who would you be playing next week? Who you warranted start again? For instance, you know, did Dom Solanke do enough?
Yeah. The thing is, I was going to pick up on the Dom Solanke because Rich is in the room again, so I thought we'd have another conversation about Dom. And this is what we go back to before. I think he looked more confident today. He looked like he wanted the ball. He wanted it. He was fresh. He looked sharper, and that can see that's just the confidence in the goals he scored the other day. What I was concerned about when we spoke the other day was: is he going to be a world beater or a top player? Or is he just going to give us these moments? And that's, for me, where he stood out again today. You know, he had a great chance in that 6-yard box. And instead of probably being a top quality striker, which he's got time to be one, he probably just dinks that over the leg, or he's a little bit more classy with it. Instead, he's just lashing at it. And it's deflecting.
He should have laid it off the King.
Yeah, and this is where, for me, he's going to be defined as a great striker or just a player that's going to pop up and give us the odd win here or the odd goal here and go from there. But, you know, I think Callum goes in again. I think Callum's been all out of sorts all season, you know, because he missed the shot that got cut back for him from Brooks. It almost then made him panic when the ball fell to his left foot. And on reflection, he'll be in the changing room knowing he should have laid it off to Harry Wilson. But he's so anxious to get a goal that he's just snatching at everything at the moment. But for me, you still play him. He's our main striker. He goes in for me every time. Billing comes out. I love Gosling in there, but Eddie's got it right in the sense of he can't be trusted to play as a 2 in centre midfield for me. So it's some difficult decisions for Eddie to make there. Lloyd Kelly's class, and he is a future talent. He is going to make mistakes because he's young, but I think we'll accept that.
Yeah, and Ben's on chat saying, let's not give Lloyd Kelly the versatile tag. He was signed knowing that he wanted to be a centre-back, and let's just stick with it. And to be fair, he's been doing a very good job there recently. Now, Nathan Ake is a player that not many people expect to be at the club next season. Harry Wilson, we're not really sure of, and I don't know about you, like when he went down, I was thinking, penalty! It's got to be a penalty! Ref, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then you see that replay. Oh my God, Steve!
It was almost as good as Jack Grealish's.
Well, there was no touch at all, was there, Steve? It was from one of those angles. It was damning, wasn't it?
It was dreadful. It was. I mean, I played centre back all my career, and I would have been absolutely shouting my head off at him if he'd have done that in front of me. Yeah. I mean, it was
3 games you played, wasn't it, Steve?
No, I only made 2, and they were subs.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
What I don't understand is why anybody in this day and age even attempts that, because you know it's going to go to VAR and they're going to have a look at it, and there's no way they're going to get away with it. Did you see the ref actually give him a little thumbs up for not appealing for it a little bit later on down the line? And I'm surprised. I just don't know how he didn't get booked for that. It was
well, but he to be fair, he got up, right? I mean, he dived. He realised.
Yeah, he knew he'd been caught out straight away. Right. He knew he was never getting that.
The problem the strikers have got.
that he tripped. I thought initially he tripped, but yeah, I do. Yeah.
You know what it is a lot. You know what it is a lot of the time though. They're anticipating the challenge coming in, and then if they don't go down and they stand up, they don't get the pen. So what they're trying to do is anticipate the challenge, hoping they just get the slightest nick because that's all they need, and then they get the penalty, and that's what
when
he's
it
done.
doesn't come, it looks awful, doesn't it?
Absolutely, but he's hoping.
That's exactly what Gabriel Jesus did when Steve Cook's challenge came in. He just on top of the ankle, he felt the nick and just went straight down.
Yeah,
but that's the one good thing about.
Go on, David.
That's the one good thing about VAR, right? That challenge of Steve, he was going to give that penalty, and the VAR actually overturned it.
Yeah,
that's where it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the offside doesn't work.
It's almost like the sort of 100 meters where it's like on your marks, get set, and they often will go and it'll be like a full start, and they are set like in that position, just waiting for that touch, as sort of Kirk said, because if they get the touch and they're not set, then it's very difficult to just go down like a sack of spuds when you're not sort of like in that mindset. But arguably he shouldn't be in that mindset anyway. But yeah, sadly it wasn't a penalty because it was an atrocious dive. But we had chances after that, and you're finishing off at 2-1. We'll look ahead. Friday night, we've kind of touched on it so far. Watford v West Ham. Steve number 2, I'll come to you. What are you expecting from that game? Are you expecting West Ham to roll Watford over?
I think it's going to be close. I don't want to put myself on the line again. I've already done it once tonight. So, yeah, I just think it's going to be tight. I don't even want to call it, really.
Is a draw a bad result?
Yeah. I think it's... yeah. I mean, I'm undecided on it, really.
Yeah, based on West Ham's form, I mean, West Ham's form has been very good, and Watford, despite getting those 2 wins in a row, I think it's been quite shady, really. So I'm expecting West Ham to do it, and I'm hoping they do. And if they, do a 2-0 or a 3-0, as I say, there is a chance after Sunday that we could be out of the relegation zone, which is absolutely nuts. It's there was a stage where I was looking at the results thinking there have got to be lots of different scenarios now that have to come together to get us out of it. Now it's only 2 things: they lose, we win, and win well. Can we do it, Steve number 2?
I think we can do it. I definitely think we can do it. After, like I said, I've already said it already today that after the last 2 performances, I think we go into the next 2 games and we're going to go fighting. So, yeah.
Love it. That's what I like to hear. A bit of optimism. Steve, thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate it, buddy. And also Rich as well. Thank you very much for your input as ever tonight, mate. Thank you so much. We'll go down to 6 for the meantime. But if you want to get involved, just grab a pair of headphones. We'll be on for about another 10 minutes. We'll keep it relatively short tonight. Go to afcbpodcast.com/take part. It will take you to a link where you just have to allow your camera and your microphone. So, Craig, Friday night, are you looking forward to it, or is it one that you're kind of going to watch with some kind of nervous anticipation?
I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I think West Ham should have too much for Watford. They are the better side. On the spin side, though, West Ham sometimes don't turn up. And if West Ham don't turn up against Watford, and Watford do get a result, West Ham can then turn it on in what's their final 2 games? West Ham's
they got Villa last game, haven't they?
Yeah, see, that's a dangerous one. We need West Ham to really win because I honestly think it'll be I honestly think West Ham could get will beat Villa, and if Watford get a result and then it goes down to those final 2 games, I think would be.
They've got Man United as well at home. At Old Trafford, which is not an easy match. But if Villa get a result in their next game, then that makes their last game ridiculously tricky as well. So there are so many different scenarios involving other teams. I mean, I know we're concentrating on that Friday night match, but there are other games that are going on where it's kind of a case of should we just be ignoring that and just think, come on lads, let's just beat Saints and beat Everton and see what happens.
We have to focus on our 2 games, to be honest. I think out of the 2 games, I think the Everton game is easier than the Southampton game. But of course, to take it into that final game, we're going to have to beat Saints. That is a must. I'm with Kirk. We have to get the 6 points. There's no 2 ways about it. With all those scenarios, that could crop up, we just have to get the 6 points. If we get the 6 points, I think I'm sure it will be enough. We'd be very, very unlucky if it wasn't. But I'm sure it will be enough. So we just have to focus on ourselves. And if we get those 6 points, we should be okay.
Can I just say something? If we get those 6 points and Brighton lose their next 3 games, we'll be above Brighton.
And
everybody thinks Brighton's out of it. But Brighton's got 3 tough games.
Who have they got? Let's see who they. I'm not too sure who Brighton have got.
I think they've got Burnley.
Yeah, that's not easy.
Who are the other ones?
I'm just looking now. Yeah, so they've got. They're away at Southampton tomorrow night. They home against Newcastle, which is the one where they might pick up a result, but Newcastle might have a bit of a reaction after the way they capitulated at Watford. And then they're at Burnley, and you know what? Like any game in the Premier League is not easy. So I don't think we should be ever expecting one team to win and another team to lose, because people would have been looking at us thinking, well, Bournemouth will beat Newcastle, they'll probably beat Palace, maybe they'll get a point at Wolves, and
lose to Leicester.
Yeah, we got 3 points against Leicester and 1 home to Spurs. It's just nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of those things. David in Washington, thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate your input once again. Hopefully see you in equally good mood. Well, I say good mood, but after
it better be after Sunday. We're going to win.
It has to be.
Stuff them.
Cheers, David. Appreciate you coming on. Kirk, you said in the meantime, I'll bring in Mark in the background here as well. But Kirk, go for it.
Yeah, no, I know it sounds a ridiculous statement, but from a selfish point of view, looking at our team, I would just bin off even looking at the league. I'd ban it if I was Eddie. I'd just focus on the job in hand.
Yeah.
Don't go home looking on Google at the league standings, what could happen, goal difference, who could get dragged into it. Let's focus on what we got to do, and that's beat Southampton, do the double over them. I'm convinced we're taking this to the last game of the season now. I hope this doesn't come back and bite me, but this is going down to the wire. What will be, but I'm convinced it's going to Everton. We'll get the 3 points on Sunday, but let's focus on the job in hand. Let's not worry about circumstances and league tables, and I'd be banning it. I know it's easier said than done, but that's what I'd be saying if I was Eddie.
I agree with that.
And do you know what about tonight? Even though we lost, I think the biggest thing is we didn't get spanked, and we can take massive confidence from that performance today, and that going into the last 2 games, especially the way we played against Leicester in the second half, and the way I think we performed all right against Man United. It's only going in one direction, our confidence, I think, and taking that into the last 2 games is massive.
Yeah,
if we got spanked tonight and we'd have been on the floor confidence-wise, it could have been could have destroyed it.
And there are other times. I mean, I'm right next to a TV at this point in time, but 2-1 to Arsenal.
I thought you were in a disco.
yeah. I wish I haven't got those lights. 2-1 to Arsenal against Liverpool. I mean, I haven't been watching the game. We've just been sort of turning every so often. But I mean, if they're putting in a shift against Liverpool, given the fact that they are, trying to get Champions League football or whatever against Watford, they're going to be putting in a right old shift. But like you say, all this talk is, what's the point when all we need to do is just get the 6 points and see what happens. Sol, final thoughts. Southampton and Everton, how are we going to beat Southampton? Because they're in decent form, aren't they? And played very well against Man United.
I think if we sort of just follow on from what we've shown today, that sort of hustle at the end of the game towards the last sort of 20 minutes, the sort of performance that we were putting in, it shows a lot of quality in what we can do. And I think if everyone turns up on the day, I think, like Kirk said about just focusing on our own performance, not doing any if, buts, and maybes or anything, we can really put a shift in and get those 6 points that are needed.
Brilliant. Sol, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you very
Really
much.
appreciate your views. Thank you very much to Steve. Also, thanks as ever. And you know what? The final forecast next season, hopefully you'll get one of those coasters. Fingers crossed.
I'm coming back on, mate. You can't keep me away.
No,
I'm taking funnel down.
Yeah,
I think you did better than me, Steve, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't hard, was it, Craig?
It wasn't hard, was it? Let's be honest, mate.
Well, Morgan went for a Chelsea loss.
How's he getting on?
Well, I don't think it's too good. He went for a Chelsea loss and a Bournemouth win. So Tony Funnell's got 2 up on him already. So I think, well, he's confident. He says, I'll win. I'm not sure you will, Morgan. We'll have to see about that. But anyway, Steve, thanks very much, mate.
Pleasure, as always.
Take care, mate.
See you later, chaps.
Cheers, Steve. And Mark's here as well. Mark, how are you feeling after that? You're not looking overly sad?
No, not at all. I think the most pleasing thing for me was, certainly after the first 2 games coming back in, was we went behind, but we didn't give up. Well, Crystal Palace and Newcastle, I think heads dropped. And I think really, really positive. You know, one of the stats earlier saying that we had the most amount of shots at Man City of any away team in the last 3 or 4 years. I think that's a really, really positive thing. I think Callum as well. I think the last few games he's not looked very sharp. Granted, he had a few shots today which he scuffed, went wide, but hopefully, I don't actually think in the last few games before tonight he actually has looked like he's in a position where he's going to score, or at least he's in those positions. Hopefully, one of those can go in, and we know how good and how capable he is. So if he gets maybe 1 against Southampton, might push him on to then get another 1 against Everton and can make all the difference. So no, I think generally you can't find any negatives tonight. I thought maybe, I don't know if you guys think the same, but I thought for the free kick, take nothing away from it, it was incredible. Yeah. I just felt, looking at the replay, I might be wrong, but it just felt like Rico walked away from the wall and maybe gave a little bit of a gap. I don't know, but that's really clutching at straws, I think, because I think the free kick was just world class. But
what can you put the change in performances down to? Because that performance, the last performance, the performance before that, completely different. When you compare them to the horror shows against Palace and Newcastle, it's like they're players. What do you think's the difference?
I honestly don't know, because he's not like he's kept the same team throughout each of the game. It's not that they've come back from the break, needed a game or 2 to sort of get used to playing with each other. He has made a few changes, so I don't know. You never know. They might have read some comments. They might have viewed some videos of fans' reactions, and hopefully that's just given them the kick up the bum that some of them needed. I think there were still some individual performances. Aki, I don't think he played badly up until his injury. I think he actually came out of the games with some credit. Stanislas always seemed to play well and try. I think you can accept losing if the team looks like they're trying hard. But I think the first 2 games, certainly they just didn't look like they were doing that. Whereas now, I think we're back in our rhythm a bit more. We're playing really good football. And like I say, if we do go behind, heads don't drop. We then carry on pushing on, try and get that equaliser. And I think that's, for me, one of the most pleasing things.
Yeah, would you agree with that sentiment, Craig?
Yeah, I would say so. I think after the Newcastle match, there was a lot of talk about Eddie locking him in the changing room for half an hour. There was Steve Cook's comments, which a lot of people said weren't helpful. Steve Cook shouldn't have come out and said them. I honestly think it was necessary. He's captain.
I think it was needed.
Yeah. It was a kick up the backside. The team weren't performing. I think there was a little bit of a hangover from the Fraser situation. I think that was there. That was in some players' minds. And I think that some players didn't have the urgency that was needed early on. They probably underestimated the situation that we were in. And it's good. I think it's good that they had disagreements in that changing room. I hope they did, because that Newcastle match was shambolic. And since then, against Man United, we was coming up against a form team, but they did okay. There was good signs there. And then, you know, against Spurs, Leicester was fantastic. You know, okay, they didn't kicked on in the last half an hour. Before that, it was a little bit ropey. But tonight, you know, they really showed what they're all about, what they can do as a team. I just hope it's not too late. I won't pin it all on those Newcastle and Palace games. I don't think you can count the Wolves game in there. Wolves are a decent side. But I would also pinpoint the Norwich defeat earlier on in the season. Brighton. Watford was atrocious as well.
Yeah, Norwich at home was bad. That was a bad game.
Yeah.
There's a few.
So there is, you know, well, what was Steve Cook doing against Norwich when he, you know, fantastic save, you know, if he was a goalkeeper. But so there's a lot of points which I would pin it on if we did go down. But I have seen a bit more spirit. I think if we focus on our job, which is to beat Southampton firstly, I don't think we should need to be worried about Everton. I don't think we need to be worried about them at all. They won't have anything to play for, I don't believe, at that point. And, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, they might be on the beach. So, yeah, I'm hopeful, but our focus has to be on beating Southampton. If we don't beat them, you know, then that Everton game is pointless, I think.
Agreed. Mark, thank you very much for coming on tonight, mate. Appreciate your views.
No worries. Cheers.
Thank you very much. And Kirk and Craig, nice to have you on again. No doubt we'll be speaking again very soon, hopefully in equally uplifting circumstances, put it that way. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Nice one. Cheers, Craig. Thanks very much, Kirk. Appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing your Sunday morning jog. Can't wait for that.
We'll beat them. Cheers.
Fingers crossed, eh? And if you want to hear my views on the Saints game, there will be a preview on YouTube. I've also been on In That Number podcast as well, Saints podcast. If you really want to listen to that, you can. Jeff's going to be on Meridian tonight with Fred Dinage and co on Friday night, South Edition. So if you're on Sky, that's channel 103 rather than the HD version on 113, which shows the Southeast edition. But you're more than welcome to tune into that as well and see his opinion on that huge game this weekend. The Derby game, by dictionary definition, that's what it is. Maybe they're not our rivals. Who knows? Anyway, until then, thanks for tuning in. This has been Back of the Net. We'll see you in the next video of the Cherries.
Back in the day!